You definitely don't want to be told what to eat again. And I agree. Weight loss diets, with all their rules and rigidity, they just make things worse. But what if not having a plan is what's keeping you stuck? What if a path to food freedom isn't more flexibility and wishy-washiness, but more clarity and consistency? Discovering this truth changed everything for me. I used to resist having a plan. I thought clarity and consistency were going to feel restrictive. But once I embraced them, everything got easier. My body responded really well, and food stopped being a struggle. Here's what I've discovered, both in my own life and in the lives of so many other women. We need clear guidelines about how to eat in a way that fully nourishes us. We need to follow those guidelines with some consistency and resolve. And when we do, something powerful happens. That consistency becomes key to weight loss, yes, better health, yes, and to a calmer, more peaceful relationship with food. And there's a great word for this kind of consistent alignment: fidelity. It's not perfection, it's not rigidity, it's just staying faithful to what works. So why do we resist having a clear plan? Why does fidelity sound hard or scary? Is it really? I'm going to tell you what I experienced. For a long time, I resisted following a plan. I just wanted my eating to be flexible and normal. I liked the idea of tuning into what I felt like eating. I thought that seemed more natural and more evolved. But what I didn't realize at the time was it was vague. I was constantly having to try to figure things out. Should I eat now? Have I had enough to eat? Am I eating too much? I was second guessing myself all the time, and it was exhausting. And here's what's interesting. That kind of ongoing, repeated decision making makes eating confusing, and it makes food stressful. It takes too much mental energy. I didn't have a clear enough plan, and the vagueness of my plan meant I wasn't getting results. It was creating stress, decision fatigue, a constant mental swirl. I wanted food to feel natural and easy, but it never did. And the funny thing is, I should have known better. I learned years ago, directing mental health services, it's not enough to be empathic and well-trained. The best results come from following clear, proven methods, evidence-based practices, and following them step by step with fidelity. We saw it over and over in mental health. The clearer and more consistent our practices were, the better the outcomes. So I came to the conclusion vagueness is the enemy of results. And I realized the same is true when it comes to how we eat. When I finally discovered a set of eating principles that actually work for restoring a healthy metabolism and reaching a naturally slender weight, and I started following them faithfully day after day, it didn't feel harder. It felt easier, more peaceful, more sane. And I hear this every week in the Slender for Good community. I feel so much more peace eating this way. This is simple. It's easy. It's so much calmer and more peaceful to just eat what's healthy every meal. And that's what I want to help you see. Once you have a plan you can trust, and then you practice it with fidelity, results stop being mysterious. You start feeling better in your body and your mind because your actions are aligned. A lot of smart women say to me, I just want to eat intuitively. I just want to listen to my body and eat what I really want. And I get it. That sounds like freedom. I used to love this idea too. And there is a good part of it, paying attention to hunger and satiety and how food makes you feel. This can be really important. But asking your body what it wants, this can be a mistake because our bodies are wired to want calories. They want the fastest, most pleasurable calories, and that helped us survive throughout the millennia. But in today's food environment, those survival drives often pull us toward the very food-like substances that are most likely to keep us stuck in poor results for our body and a stressful relationship with food. So when people say, just eat what your body wants, I think we have to be really honest about what's shaping those desires. Sometimes what we want is driven more by habit or food marketing than by wisdom. Now, the good news is I've seen again and again we can rebuild our inner wisdom. Once you start consistently eating real, nourishing food, that's when your preferences begin to shift. That's when intuitive eating starts to feel truly wise and reliable. So, yes, listen to your body, but first, nourish it consistently. That's what clears the noise and the static and lets your intuition realign with wisdom. I'm going to tell you about Ellen. She was never a dieter. She never did anything extreme. She just tried to feed herself and her family according to general healthy eating guidelines, eating meals and snacks that seemed wholesome. But over time, her weight crept up, and as she approached 70, she knew she wanted to do better if she could. She was curious about SimplyWise eating, and she gave it a try, and things really started to shift in the first few weeks. Aches and pains were going away. She began to steadily lose the excess weight. But what she loved the most, her mood improved. She felt calmer and more patient with her family, and just better able to handle her daily life. Ellen had always assumed that following a plan would feel restrictive and unpleasant and difficult, that it would bring stress into her life. But once she had real clarity about what her body needed, it felt like relief. Cravings went away, the mental swirl of what should we eat resolved quite naturally. She found herself actually liking the idea of fidelity, simply living resolved to nourish your body well every day. We think of fidelity in a marriage sometimes in pretty narrow ways. But when I think about the people whose marriages have inspired me, they've just simply decided they're committed to this very special relationship with one person. Day after day, they choose to love and support each other, and they take action each day to make that commitment come to life. That's what makes their marriage wonderful. Fidelity is the core mechanism in marriage, and it's the core mechanism that makes food peace possible. Not about perfection, it's not about rigid control, but clear, nourishing repetition, consistent action. Fidelity means staying in relationship with a way of eating that works for you. That's what brings momentum. That's what brings confidence. That's what brings relief. I had done diets before, and I worried that having to follow a plan would feel heavy. It would get in the way of a relaxed relationship with eating. But once I found what actually works for my body, and I committed to eating that way each day, it didn't feel stressful. On the contrary, it actually simplified my life. It freed me from all the food cravings that I used to have, and it gave me energy and clarity I had not experienced in years. So if you've been avoiding a plan because you're afraid of rules or old food obsessions, I want to gently offer a new perspective. Fidelity to a nourishing way of eating. This isn't the enemy of food freedom. It's the pathway to food freedom. When you stop redeciding, you start living. You don't think about food all day, all the time. You stop spinning in guessing or guilt. You begin to rebuild trust in your body by eating in a way that truly supports you. It's not just about what you're eating. It's about knowing what nourishes you and committing to it with a calm, quiet resolve. And trusting that fidelity, not force, is what's going to free you. If you want help finding that kind of clarity, start with my book, Slender for Good After 50. Let this be the beginning of a peaceful relationship with food. You deserve that.